Hello, this is Sierra and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video reading part 2, or technically just the next part of Marvelous Wonder, which is a Clockwork Chronicles story in Scar's perspective. If you haven't read the first part, you probably should, because, there will be spoilers. Although if you are looking at the screen now, you already know that something happened. And we are going right into the next one. I left you in a cliffhanger last week. Or last time. Whenever I don't know if I'm going to upload this in the same week or not. Maybe I will. But yeah, because I'm recording this this would normally come out based on what I've done on April 1st. And I kind of don't want to do that. Kind of don't want to do that, but it would be silly. I don't know. Not that big a deal. So, maybe I'll try to, finagle depending on how many parts there are. That's fine. People probably will be fine with that, so. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with the flow, see what happens, and then figure it out when the time comes. Yeah. Anyway. Scar let out a scream as piercing pain filled his body. It felt like he was on fire, or it was like being dipped in was it like being dipped in hot lava? Was he in hot lava? Scar didn't dare open his eyes, momentarily blinded by the light of the portal. Stop screaming, the man's voice boomed in his mind. Stop, and I don't keep hurting you. It's that simple. Scar stopped screaming. Slipping backwards. Was he falling? Who are you? Scar asked the voice. Real question is where you are. The man snarled. Scar jolted as his chair hit a cobbled path. He opened his eyes, confused, as a portal snapped away, right in front of him. They were in a town square. Bright shops surrounding every corner. Scar blinked in confusion. Why did this place look so familiar? Come on, we need to keep moving before someone sees us, the man grunted. Scar yelped as his chair lurched forward. I can push myself, thank you, Scar insisted, gasping in pain as he reached for his head. Part of keeping quiet, did you not understand? The man hissed in his ear. Scar flinched. Spit splattered into the air, almost like the tongue of a snake. Scar tried to turn his head to get a better look at the man, but a hand met him instead as he was slapped on the side of his head. Look forward, hermit. Someone's born right now. But Scar flinched again as searing pain like red-hot coals slipped down his body. He shuddered, seeing the cruel eyes of Gerald holding a red-hot blade to the hermit's face. Scar kept quiet, noticing a glimmer of light from the corner of his eye. Intrigued, Scar began to turn his head again, yelping in pain as shock from the headband jolted through his body. Where is everyone? Scar thought, gazing around the town square. Torchlight poured from the windows of shops as mouth-watering smells of bread and sweets met him as they passed the bakery. You think we can stop to eat? I'm hungry, Scar suggested. She'll eat when Campbell sends for you, the man said curtly. Campbell? Scar's blood ran cold. This is hardly the place where I expect to see Campbell. Maybe he lives in a castle? Very funny, the man said, unamused. If you are curious, the townsfolk are at a picnic. Perfect time to sneak a stowaway. But my friends, Scar insisted. Doesn't matter now. They can't find you to help you, the man snapped. Scar sighed, resting his hands on his armrest. Put your hands on your lap. I can't afford you trying to pull a fast one on me. The man still wiped at the hermit's hand. Scar didn't argue, moving his hands calmly to his lap. The man huffed in satisfaction as they passed a butcher's shop, as well as a fruit stand. You're just teasing me, Scar complained. Can't the man have a bite to eat? I'm hungry. Like I care. So what if you starve? The man growled. The headband hummed louder. Scar winced, expecting another shock. This time, it didn't happen. It didn't come. Where are you taking me? Scar asked, leaning back calmly on the back of his wheelchair. Sure, he had just been kidnapped and forced to go with his map. Yes, we'll enjoy the ride. You'll see soon enough, the man said dryly. You seem to be in a grouchy mood today, Scar said whimsically. Is everything okay? I'm fine, the man snorted. Don't make me shock you again. I don't want you having to sweet-talk me. I won't have you trying to sweet-talk me. Where would I go? Scar sighed, looking up at the sky. The sky is quite beautiful today, wouldn't you agree? The man let out an exasperated sigh. You really care that less about your own well-being to ask me that? It's just a question, Scar pointed out. One of many, the man grunted. You clearly aren't taking my warning seriously. I'm just curious. Scar teased with a chuckle. And that's the problem, the man grumbled. Everyone is too curious, asking too many questions. I'm sure they don't mean to offend you. Scar kept his eyes straight ahead. They're just being friendly. They're being nosy, that's what. The man snapped as pain seared through the hermit once more. Scar groaned in pain, reaching for his forehead. Put your hands down! The man's booming voice startled the hermit as he slapped his palms onto his lap again. Sorry, you're just getting agitated and setting off the headband. Oh, I'm agitated, all right, the man ranted. Campbell wanted me to come here to spy on these people to see what made them tick. He wanted me to fit in. The problem is these people are far too trusting and careless. They're always doing their stupid experiments, giving me horrendous headaches. Then Campbell asked me to fetch you, and you have to go and act just like them? Do you even know what I've been through over the last 2 weeks? No! Sorry you feel that way, Scar said quietly. It seems you need a friend. You? I'll pass, the man cheered. You think you're so smart and in control of the situation, don't you? Don't look at it so surprised. I can hear your thoughts. This headband is a bit of an upgrade from the last one, making it harder for you to hide things from me. And it means I can manipulate your dreams. My dreams are already a mess, Scar shrugged. Oh, I can make them much worse, Scar. The man snickered. I can show you so many horrors. It will destroy you. Scar shuddered. You could see glimmers of the man's thoughts. He saw the eliminators charging through the streets. The towns in flames. Giant beasts chasing him through the woods. Is that what Campbell wants? Torture me? No, the man said briskly, as they rounded a corner. Scar had counted 3 corners they had gone around, scanning what he was allowed to see, marking notable things along the way. He's got something much bigger planned for you. Scar was led to the end of the cobblestone path, moving down a neighborhood, arriving at a small purple house with their shutters closed tight. No wonder he's so grouchy. He's getting very little sunlight. Scar cried out in pain, lurching forward as the headband shocked him again. The hermit felt like he was being stung by thousands of bees. I heard that, the man leered. The man shoved open the door with one hand, gripping Scar's wheelchair tightly so he wouldn't roll backwards. They entered the dark room. There was only candles lighting the room, giving it an eerie, ominous glow. Eerily ominous glow? Scar swallowed. A wave of fear crashing into him. Realization finally set in, seeing just how alone he was. Far his friends were. Korean? Impulse? Scar reached out his mental hand, the darkness of his mind. He yelped as the headband sent searing fire through him. The hermit recoiled, slamming his head against the headrest of his wheelchair. I would advise not doing that again, the man warned, turning Scar's chair around, stepping the wheel. Gosh. Oh my gosh. No way. That's not allowed. Strapping the wheels with chains to the wall before taking a step back to admire his work. You can't walk, right? Not since Gerald stuck needles into me. Scar narrowed his eye at the short, lean man before him. His features were hidden by a shadowy room. I can crawl, though. The man snorted. Well, where'd you go? I'd catch you before you went far. Scar looked down at the floor, slowly shaking his head. Campbell really not done after all. Why did this stubborn man have to sleep? You'll see soon enough. The man's voice taunted his mind. I wasn't lying about the food, Scar admitted. The man glared at him before stalking out of the room, leaving the hermit alone with his thoughts. No, he wasn't alone. The man was always close. He'd know as soon as Scar thought of a plan to escape. He'd know if he tried calling for help. Who would even hear him? That's right. You can't get yourself out of this one now. The thought was followed by a cackling laugh, muffled through the wall. Scar didn't look up. He didn't move from where he was. Right now, you have to play along, for as long as it took for his friends to find him. Just give me the crystal. Campbell sneered at the hermit, taking a defiant step forward, hand outstretched. Scar clutched the gem closer to his chest. It's your fault they're in this mess. Mr. A shook his head with disappointment. The more you resist, the longer your friends suffer. No, you can't have it, Scar insisted. I'll put it back. You can't change who you are. Mr. A's eyes darkened into full blackness, like a bottomless abyss. Wait, Scar thought. The men took a step closer as Scar hit something behind him. The gray box was dull and dead. He heard something metal. A dagger glinted in the moonlight. Wait! It's too late to wait, Campbell said darkly. You either give me the gem or watch as I take everything from you. Grian, Nipples, B-dubs, Caleb. No! Scar screamed. You can't! We'll be there to stop it. The cold smell formed on Mr. A's face. You can't save them. Grian, Impulse, help me! Scar cried, falling to his knees as he felt like his body was being pumped with molten lava. Please, stop! Stop calling for help then! The hermit's kidnapper snapped. I can make it worse. No, please! Scar begged, falling to his side, still clutching the gem to his chest. It felt warm and soothing, like a loving embrace. Impulse! I'm here, a quiet voice whispered into his mind, barely audible from the pain screaming in his ears. Impulse! Scar whimpered. Take my hand, his friend's comforting voice urged. It hurts. So much pain. Scar tried to reach out mentally to his friend, screaming in pain as a wall of flames erupted from in front of him. He watched in horror as he let go of the crystal, watching it roll into the flames. Pain seared his vision red as he screamed again, smoke pinning him to the ground. I'm coming. Impulse's voice sounded faint, distant. Scar closed his eyes, feeling the searing flames lick his bare skin. Suddenly the hermit plummeted into darkness, jolting himself awake. He took in the gloomy room around him, shaking with fear. Impulse, Scar whispered, his throat hoarse from screaming. I hope you're not torturing him too much, a familiar voice teased. It's just a nightmare, sir. He was trying to call for help. The kidnapper snickered. I stopped him now. Excellent, the other man replied, seeming satisfied. Something is working for once. The man stepped into the gloomy light, his face shadowed as he wore a cloak of midnight around his shoulders. His dark eyes took on the hermit as he smiled. Handbelt? Scar blinked, moving its hands to his armrests defensively. There's nothing in those separate compartments of yours, so don't bother looking. The kidnapper chortled. I noticed you have a nice addition. Do your feet get wet? Scar bit his bottom lip, not saying a word as Campbell approached the hermit. Let's keep this simple for you, Scar. Campbell leaned closer, his eye level with the hermit. You're going to help me with a little something here. Something that will help me immensely. Scar shook his head. I'm not helping you. It doesn't look like you have much of a choice. Campbell narrowed his eyes. Scar swallowed nervously. I thought as much. Now, how close of a bond do you have with Stappy? Stappy? Scar blinked, hoping to feign ignorance. He groaned in pain as the headband sent ice-cold pain through his body. Haven't you recognized where we are yet? Or has Stampy never told you? Scar shook his head again. awaiting the cruel thrill of pain again. What do you know of this place? Campbell pressed. Scar looked away from the man, tightening his grip on his armrest. Maybe he could press the force field button and force the man to back off. So one shake of his kidnapper's head, he knew that wasn't a good idea. I'm not sure. Scar managed out a whisper. I'm not sure if I know anything you don't already know. Campbell reached out a hand and put it firmly on the hermit's cheek. Did you know Mr. A was interested in this place? He believed he could change the world by changing one artifact. Scar closed his eyes, nodded solemnly. Someone may have mentioned that. His thoughts are cloudy. The kidnapper frowned. I could see them clearly before. Keep trying, Trevor. Campbell snapped, glancing over his shoulder at the man. He's known for hiding secrets. He turned toward Scar. Who told you this? No one? Scar blinked, trying to keep his face as still as possible. Was technically true. No one had directly told him. I knew of a place, but this? Why would Mr. A want this? Campbell smiled at the hermit. The power of wonder is strong here, especially with you, it seems. Why do you think Mr. A was willing to risk everything for that blasted gem? Gem? Scar frowned. You mean Gemini? Don't you play coy with me, Campbell snarled, slapping the hermit across the cheek. Scar flinched. The Wonder Gem! The very first thing you saw when you came here! That's what the shiny thing I thought was. Scar nodded, understanding the man. I apologize for any inconvenience, Theodore, but I don't know anything about the Wonder Gem. Could you enlighten me? Trevor started. He thinks he's got the floor now. Campbell chuckled. Do I need to have Trevor remind you who's in charge here? Scar lifted his chin. I don't need a reminder. My chair is currently chained to the wall. Campbell smiled. Good. At least you're sensible. He stepped away, folding his hands behind his back. Why'd you do that, Fawn? You'll understand that you have no choice but to do as I ask. What will you do if I don't? Torturing me won't work. Will it? Campbell arched an eyebrow. Scar stared at the man in defiance. I'm not going to give you what you want. Very well, Trevor, show him his war spheres, but kick it up a few notches, Campbell said smugly. Trevor nodded obediently as Campbell strolled out of the room. Scar didn't see him leave. The hermit jolted in pain, his vision flickering into a dark room. Someone loomed over him. The hermit blinked, hearing the sound of muffled voices. Have a look. Trevor's voice spoke from the figure, who gestured his head toward the sound. Scar blinked, confused. Scar! A familiar cry pleaded, in pain. Scar, help me! Scar's heart skipped a beat as he snapped his head toward his friend's cries. His eyes widened as he saw Green pressed against the glass of a cylinder container. His pale face ghostly white, contorted with pain as green bubbles floated off the floor. No, Scar thought. This can't be real. This can't be happening. He struggled to sit up, to run to his friend's side, to save him. No! Another voice bleated. Scar followed the cry, seeing another room beside Green's cylinder prison. The room was small, with a glass wall Scar could see through. His eyes widened as he took in the scene. In the center of the room, he could see two figures, one on his knees, cradling the second figure in his arms, his cheeks soaked with tears. Impulse! Scar cried to call out to his friend, watching as the figure of Impulse's arms disappeared in a puff of smoke. No. Scar refused to believe this nightmare was real. This was an illusion, a trick! But the more he watched, the more he heard his friend's desperate pleas. You can't save them, Trevor said plainly. Scar snapped his head to glare at the man. Their fates have been sealed. So is yours. You're wrong, Scar whispered. The man seemed to grow taller, shadow filling the room. Scar! Green screamed. His face... His cry muffled in the glass as the hermit closed his eyes, hearing the agony in his friend's voice. No one can help you, Trevor said firmly. They don't know where you are. And if they did, it would only lead to their doom. Help me. Scar struggled against the restraints that pinned him down, keeping him from helping his friends. His family. No one can help you. Trevor spoke, giving the hermit no other reply. Scar felt tears stinging his eyes. Pain coursed through his body. He couldn't escape. He was trapped. There was never a choice. He had no choice. Yes, there is background noise. Deal with it. Scar blinked away the horrible images, finding himself in the room once more. Trevor was leaning against the wall by the entrance, twiddling his thumbs as if lost of thought. Campbell hadn't joined them yet, but Scar had a feeling he'd be back soon. How much was Campbell willing to put him through until he cooperated? Or did he have something else in mind? No matter what happens today, Scar, you don't have a choice, Terror said calmly, pushing himself from the wall, walking to the table, picking up a bowl of soup. The man crossed the room to stand before the hermit. Eat this. You haven't eaten anything the last couple of days. Days? How long have I been gone? Scar met the short man's gaze before looking down at the soup the man offered. Mushroom stew. Some yellow petals floating on the surface. Hydration. It's not a need to punish you physically. Terror shrugged. He only wanted to give you a mental image of what he'll make you witness. I told him about your ears. See your friends in peril and you're unable to save them. Classic. You're so much like a hero, Scar. It's pathetic. The man spat into the soup, shoving it into Scar's hands. Scar just stared down at the soup, unable to stop his mind racing. What did Campbell want him to do? Major Green, trapped in this poisonous glass cylinder, filled his mind again. He shuddered. He had saved Green from that horrible fate initially, while being at the wrong place at the wrong time. He pretended to be his friend in front of RJ to protect him, even though it had meant pain and torment for him from RJ interrogating him about Yeti and the others. Hours of pain, weakness, poison coursing through his body, biting into his skin, flowing through his veins. There was no escape from RJ's iron grip. Not until Jem had come to rescue him. Scar closed his eyes, remembering that moment. She was so relieved to see him, to know he was okay. She saved his life when RJ tried to finish him off, taking most of the effects of the sleeping potion by covering the radius. Tears filled the hermit's eyes as he blinked away the memory. Do I have to force feed you? Trevor threatened, his eyes flashing with impatience. Sorry, Scar muttered, putting the bowl to his lips, trying not to think about the man's spit that was also in the soup. Stop complaining, Hermit. You're lucky it's not leftover scraps. Trevor's thoughts invaded the hermit's mind again. Scar pushed the thought aside as he consumed the soup. It felt warm and refreshing, refueling him as he realized just how hungry he'd been. I told you I was hungry. Scar smirked at the man, wincing at another shock from that been. Trevor glowered at the hermit. His eyes blazed with fury. If I had it my way, you would have starved, the man grumbled. You must be pretty tired, especially from all the questions. Scar's eyes brightened. Nosy neighbors, always asking me if I could help them with this or that, or what project I was working on. The man sneered. Who cares? It's all pointless. Is it? Scar tilted his head softly. Do you ever wonder? Don't you even finish that thought, the man bellowed. Scar screamed, feeling like his head was being split open in two as he dropped the bowl of soup, the remains of his meal splattering all over the floor. Tired of all this wandering stuff. When can I go home and be around normal people? This is normal, Scar said breathlessly through gasps of pain. People are naturally curious. Aren't you curious about life? Works? Why does it work? Haven't you looked up into the night sky and had questions about what would it be like to be out there? on the moon. I don't care. The man frowned, crossing his arms in front of him. I don't even care that you made a mess of my originally slept for. Sorry, Scar repeated, but the man waved him off. I don't care, the man said blandly. What's with done here? I'm going on a vacation to a faraway place where I can be alone. None if I have anything to say about it, Campbell said sternly as Trevor jumped, startled by the man as he walked into the room. How much did you hear? Trevor stammered anxiously. Enough. Campbell walked across the room, looking down at the mess on the floor. He finally looked up after a long moment. You ready to head out? Where are we going? Scar frowned. What are you going to do? I'm going to finish this. Campbell narrowed his eyes, gesturing for Trevor to release chains from the wheelchair. Trevor scrambled forward, doing as he was told without question. And you, dear YouTuber, are going to help me. You're going to finish what you started. Scar's eyes widened. Yes. Campbell smiled darkly. That's precisely what I'm going to do. Trevor, let's head back to the center of town now. The darkness of night will cover us. Yes, sir. Trevor panted, shoving the hermit from the wall, pushing the chair across the room. Scar exited the front door with the two men right behind him. Is it just you two here? Scar asked curiously, looking over his shoulder at Trevor and Campbell. He was relieved to not receive a slap this time. What's the matter to you? Trevor snarled. Of course it isn't. We've got an army hiding in wait while you do your duty in getting that blessed gem. Oh. Scar's heart skipped a beat. Realization struck him. The nightmare. The dream. Maybe it hadn't been fabricated after all. What about Mr. A? What about him? Campbell snapped. We don't need him here to cause a little chaos. We'll do fine. You'll do fine on that with that part. So, he's not here? Scar frowned. No, why would I break him out of his prison? He deserved what he had coming for him. Campbell shot back angrily. Messes are so outdated, it's pitiful. So you're not that desperate? Scar raised an eyebrow, gasping in pain as it had been chucked him again. Thank you, Trevor, Campbell grumbled. I told you, sir. He's just as annoying as the rest of them. Trevor pouted. Hey! Scar swung his head to glare at the man. Trevor only shrugged, unapologetically. Maybe the gem is affecting him, Campbell said toughly. No, you do. Trevor groaned. Scar giggled. Someone needs therapy. You need therapy. Trevor snapped, shoving the hermit forward. Why are you resisting me? Because I'm not scared of you, Scar said calmly. You think you know what happens, do you? Trevor taunted. You think your friends are going to come and save you from your little nightmare? Get it, Scar. No one's coming to help you. Not anyone that knows who you are, anyway. You'll probably be burned to a crisp before the night's out. Gone, like I care. I'm not sure I understand, Scar replied, hating how small his voice sounded compared to the explosion Trevor had caused. He looked over at Campbell worriedly, but the man didn't seem to notice him. Was Julius like this at one point? Was that how he completely destroyed someone that one time? Because of an outburst? What would happen if Trevor took out his rage on him? I think he had no holding back. How's the thought? Trevor mused, seeming to find Scar's train of thought funny. Come on, be scared of me. I can fry you easily. Really? Scar looked over his shoulder curiously as they rounded the third corner. Soon they would be at the town square. Don't test my patience, Hermit. You're lucky I'm holding back my mental strength, Trevor growled. I'll leave it till you give us that gem. Who says I'm giving it to you? Scar raised an eyebrow, turning to face ahead, seeing the town square ahead. The town looked exceptionally lovely at night, as it did during the day. The pedestal glowed, bathing the path surrounding it in light. The wonder gem swirled around the green cube, glittering in a glorious rainbow. The Scar gasped. Oh, I thought, it's better than in my dream. They arrived at the bottom of the pedestal, the steps leading up to the gem above. Scar stared at his steps uneasily, realizing just how inaccessible it was for him. Maybe the men would second-guess their plan and give up. She's right, Buster Hermits. Trevor snarled. In and out, no hesitation. Just swoop in and snatch it. Scar shook his head, putting his hand on the control panel of his chair. You can't make me. Can't I? Trevor challenged. Scar winced, hearing the crackle of the headband as it hummed louder in his mind. Can't I? Trevor. Campbell flashed a warning look at the kidnapper. Hold your temper for just a little longer, can't you do that? But he has to. He's the one to take it. That's what the wizard said. I heard him. Trevor said crossly. He had a system that only someone who was worthy could approach it. You told me yourself that Scar reminded you so much of Stampy. Scar snorted. Campbell doesn't know either of us well enough. Stampy is horrendous with long-range combat. And you aren't? Trevor jeered. People call me Hawkeye. Scar beamed at the man. I swooped down to save the day with the power of velocity. Oh, brother, Trevor grumbled. Don't even think about trying to buy time. No one knows you're here. Scar, Campbell said calmly, his voice hard as stone. I have no problem sending a party to attack your friends. I hear Beatos was badly hurt in a skirmish trying to protect Screen. Beatos? Scar's heart lurched. The memory of the attack formed into his mind. The hermit winced. He'd heard the hermit's screams, heard the thud. He called for help. Scar shuddered. You okay? It doesn't matter, Trevor snapped, shoving the hermit forward. Use your boosters and get up there. Scar hesitated, looking up at the crystal again. Did he have much of a choice? With guilty tears brimming in his eyes, he pressed a button to activate the rocket boosters, shooting up into the sky, guiding his way toward the pedestal, gently lowering himself beside the gem. I'm surprised he didn't try to fly off, Campbell mused from below. He would have fallen out of the sky from horrible pain if he tried, Trevor said nonchalantly. Don't worry, I can read his every thought. You sure about that? Scar tested, ignoring the two men as he stared up at the gem. Suddenly, he heard alarms blaring as red lights flashed from overhead. Courage. Now! Trevor's commanding voice startled the hermit back from his trance. He reached up to touch the crystal, feeling a wave of warmth fill him. The pain faded. Trevor's horrible thoughts dissipated with it. The wonder gem hovered in his hand, warm to the touch, pulsing as if giving him worthless assurance that everything would be all right. Suddenly, a thought floated into his mind. The hermit tilted his head in wonder. Could anyone hear me? Scar sent out the thought like a signal, and echoed through the folds of dimensions. Scar? A startled voice responded. Is that you? Sappy! Scar mentally cheered, relieved to finally have a familiar friend in his mind. I need your help fast. What's going on? How are you talking to me? Stampy demanded. Am I dreaming? Probably not, Scar reassured him. Not unless you're in some way connected to one ship. How do you know that? Stampy asked in alarm. Can't help it here with in this world that has this wonder gems. Scar said quickly. Wait, Campbell's the Wonder Bird? Stampy's thoughts exploded with horror. Yes! He's trying to make me take the gem. I'm guessing he's trying to lure you into a trap. Scar said hurriedly, glancing toward the bottom of the pedestal. Seeing the enraged face of Trevor, headband on his forehead glowing the brightest green he'd ever seen. My kidnapper's trying to shock me with everything he's got. The Wonder Gem seems to be protecting me. Whatever you do, don't let go, Stampy warned. I'm on my way. Your friends are worried about you. Scar's heart soared at the cat's words. Are they okay? They're safe, the cat said gently. My friend Keen might show up and try to stop you. Tell him what you told me. He'll know what to do. I'll try. Scar let out a sigh, yelping as he felt a hand on his arm, turning to see Trevor glaring at him with fury. What is with you? Trevor's voice boomed next to Scar's ear. The man tried to snatch the Wonder Gem from Scar's hand, as the hermit rolled backward. pulling the gem closer to himself as he pressed the rocket boosters again. Get back down here, you coward! How am I the coward when you wouldn't take the gem yourself? Scar raised an eyebrow as he hovered a few feet above the man. Trevor's dark eyes narrowed with a concentration as his headband brightened to a bright neon green. Scar could see sparks coming off the gadget as he added, I wonder what would happen if you overloaded the headband. Would you survive the shock? Get down here and give me the gem, Trevor demanded, fury in his eyes as he stomped his foot on the ground. You want your friends to suffer? No. It's quite abusive, Scar mused at the men below him. This funny thing happened in my dream, and you want to know something? Doesn't scare me. You really do think your friends are coming? Trevor spat at the white quartz pedestal at his feet. They don't know where you are. Did you know? Scar lifted his chin, noticing a shadow approaching his left. He glanced over, seeing an old man wearing a purple robe, his bright green eyes watching the scene warily. Hey, Keen. You know my name? The man asked curiously, before clearing his throat, pulling something out of his pocket. I suggest you explain yourselves, unless you want trouble. He's trying to steal your stupid gem. We were trying to stop him, Trevor sneered, pointing up at the hermit accusingly. Actually, I was about to return it, Scar said matter-of-factly, carefully hovering to the ground beside the man. Who are you? The man raised an eyebrow suspiciously as Scar rolled up to the man, holding the wonder gem firmly in his grasp. The name's Scar. I'm a friend of Stampy's. Scar beamed. He told me you were coming and that you would know what to do. He looked over at Trevor, seeing Campbell meeting the man at the top of the pedestal. Right now, the wonder gem is protecting me from the headband Trevor is wearing. See? I see. Keen nodded, raising what he was holding. So, if we destroy that, you can return the wonder gem to me? That's the plan, Scar proclaimed cheerfully. He saw Trevor scowl. The man's fists were clenched at his sides. You should know, Trevor. I am a good secret keeper. I don't care, Trevor snarled, crossing his arms as he narrowed his eyes at the hermit. Standing with that wizard won't change anything for you. We'll see, Scar said confidently, lifting his chin as he pressed the button. As a golden dome surrounded both him and the wizard. Scar glanced over at Keen. Stumpy never said anything about you being a wizard. We're full of surprises, the old man chuckled, standing straight when Campbell cleared his throat. Not sure if wizards of such stature as you would be able to stop my men from coming. I am butchering that statement. I'm not sure a wizard of such stature as you would be able to stop my men from coming through and taking everything from this place. Campbell gave the wizard a slight smile, pulling out a communicator. One press of a button, and the call come through. Scar swallowed, tightening his grip on the wonder gem, watching Campbell nervously. Campbell stood beside Trevor, above them, looking down at him like predators who had finally cornered their prey. You have an idea, Keen? Not at the moment, no. Keen whispered back at the hermit. Hey, you. Can you try reaching Stampy again? Oh, right. Realization hit the hermit as he nodded. I'll try if you cover me. Don't you worry about that. Just don't let anything happen to that gem. Keen warned. Scar didn't respond, but he didn't need to, as he pushed his thoughts out into the chasms of his mind. Would you reach Stampy again? How did this little trick work? Would Trevor notice? He didn't hear them as thought in his mind. He pushed the thought through his mind. That would be a good time, maybe? Definitely. A word whispered back as the hermit squared his shoulders, recognizing the voice. Go ahead, Campbell. See what you can do, Scar demanded firmly. There's nothing you can do to stop us. Campbell tilted his head, looking over at Trevor. Can you read him? What do you think I've been trying to do for the last 5 minutes? The hermit's thoughts are unreadable. It looks like force field is blocking me. Kind of like this one here. Scar waved at the golden dome surrounding him and the wizard. This is courtesy of my friend Doc. He's a redstone genius. You might know him as the one who blew up one of Mr. A's bases. With him inside. How would you know? The man snarled. I was in the middle of that explosion, too, Scar said defiantly. This shield is what saved us. It can handle almost anything, including brute force. Is that a challenge? Trevor growled. Campbell put a hand on the man's shoulder, squeezing it firmly. Trevor glared at Campbell. What? There's no point trying to shock him while he's holding the Wonder Gem, Trevor. How long will you keep trying? Campbell shook his head. We need to try a different tactic if we want these two wanderers to take us seriously. You know, Trevor, Scar said brightly, you're pretty nice when you're not being so grumpy. I'm not going anywhere, so relax. He's trying to bait you, Campbell warned the young man as Trevor scowled. Me? No, of course not. Scar beamed, trying to uphold the burst of cheerfulness he was feeling, even though trickles of fear slipped through the cracks. Why can't we just be friends here and talk it out?
But why? Because they called me yesterday and I confirmed it.
Scar's right, Keen said simply.
Okay.
Instead of wanting to taint or destroy the very fabric of all thought and wonder, perhaps we could come to a deal. I don't deal with YouTubers, Campbell said in a dark voice. Especially not YouTubers who ally with my enemy. James's? Scar's eye widened. Seriously? All of this for 3 people? This road really bug you that much? Campbell paused, his finger poised on the button as he hesitated. You're not trying to buy yourself time, are you? Oh no, it's already too late for you. Scar sniggered. Just as a flash of light appeared in front of them, several figures stepped through the portal. Scar's smile brightened, and he saw both Impulse and Liam standing side by side with Sam in his charge, Stampy Cat. I wouldn't bother with that button, Impulse had calmly to the man. Your army isn't here to assist you anymore. What makes you so sure of that? Campbell tilted his head softly. Press it if you don't believe me. Impulse lifted his chin. Seeing as you made me finish that portal machine, hadn't you? Made a few adjustments. Campbell managed a small smile at the hermit below him, lowering the communicator as he chuckled. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. He looked over at Liam. Did your aunt set you up to this? All I know is that Impulse has been busy for the last couple of days, Liam said matter-of-factly. You see, when you took one of my friends from me, Impulse explained, gesturing the scar behind him, I tried to use my head and figure out where you might have taken him. I was able to reach him briefly enough to know that it was in some sort of pocket dimension, separate from the worlds you and I both know. He looked over at the wizard. Is that right? This is based on the first episode explanation. Carrie is like, I'm trying to keep it in line with the lore there, but also doing my own thing. So, like, is that right? Certainly. The worlds are connected to this one through the Wonder Gem. To mess with the gem, you mess with the fate of the universe. Not sure how this is connected to the Gigaverse, but like... Would be cool if Ren just somehow ended up in, like, Wonderburg. For whatever reason. Impulse nodded, giving the man a thumbs up before continuing. I didn't have to look hard to figure out where he was taken to, seeing as his friends... That's wrong, too. He is friends with Stampy, and you might want to lure him into a trap. Fortunately, we found those listening devices and used those to our advantage. We led you to believe that we had no idea where Scar was taken, but, in truth, we knew as soon as you slipped past Doc's portal system, which Stampy hadn't disabled yet. Sam chuckled. So, we were able to reverse search and find out where your so-called army was and ambush them before they'd be able to help you. Then, we secured the portal system with Impulse's knowledge and set it up so that if you do try to open a portal to escape, you'll be trapped far away. What makes you sure there isn't a glitch or a loophole? Campbell raised an eyebrow as Trevor scowled again, staring at Scar as the hermit watched his friends. I found the ones you discovered while trying to figure out how Gerald got in 2 weeks ago to hurt Scar, Impulse reported. Took some digging, but it was pretty clever. Well, thank you, Campbell mused with a smile. Case in point, Theodore, Liam said pointedly. You have nowhere to run. Don't I? Campbell looked around. Suppose I could hide and whisper a while, yes? We would find you, Kane warned the man. There is no place where you'll be safe. The moment you send a signal, I will know. Possibly thought of everything, Trevor sneered, pulling something out of his pocket. Scar swallowed, putting a nervous hand on his control panel. You're doing great. Impulse's voice encouraged in the hermit's mind as he met his friend's gaze. Scar took a slow, deep breath, nodded. I never underestimate the mischievousness of the hermit, or several, Scar told the young man simply. You think I'm bad? Just wait until you meet my friends. Trevor scoffed, hefting his gas blaster he'd stolen from Scar over one shoulder, aiming it at the golden dome. You said this dome could hold against almost anything? You do realize that I'm right here, Kane warned at the man. Shoot the blaster and I'll send the fireball right back at you. Daddy, it can't possibly be that fast, Trevor grimaced. Try it. Kane's green eyes glistened. I'm ready. Oh, this is going to be good. Steppy replied enthusiastically as Trevor stared at the group. Well, Trevor said simply, if I can't shoot you, then I'll go after them. He whirled around and fired the gas blaster at the four between them. Scar gasped as his friends scrambled out of the way, standing behind the golden dome. Trevor stepped down to the cobbled floor with Campbell by his side. Don't stop firing, Campbell said firmly. Scar can't protect all of them. Scar giggled, increasing the dial of the dome groove, covering his friends as Trevor fired again, walking closer with more rage and anger in his eyes. The headband around his head sparked bright green, vibrating dangerously as Scar could hear the menacing hum, even though his headband was completely quiet now. He removed his headband, tossing it over his shoulder as he realized what was happening. You can't force your way through this. Look, you can't force your way through. Not this time, Scar warned the man calmly. Gerald may have succeeded, but with that headband as lively as it is, I don't recommend it. The man yelled, lunging at the force field, letting out a scream that sent the birds scattering to flight from the trees that crumbled to the ground. The gas blaster landing beside him. Campbell stood only a few feet away, looking down at what items remained of Trevor's possessions. The man's expression was stone still as he stared at the YouTubers, boys, and wizard. Suddenly, another flash of light filled behind the man as someone jumped through. The man was in a camouflaged uniform as he grabbed Campbell by the arm. Sir, you are coming with me. And Campbell let out a pitiful snort, shaking his head. He looked over at Impulse with a warning glance. You may have stopped me, but I'm not the only one you should be worried about. We know, and we'll stop them, and Liam said firmly, just like we did to you. Campbell smiled sadly. You did good today, boy. Tell your aunt of what you've done. Celebrate if you must, but it's not over. Not by a long shot. Even if you stop the other group, someone will rise up from the ashes and rival you. There is no winning this fight. We're not afraid of your threats, Scar said with defiance, holding the Wonder Gem up into the air. We're stronger as a team against any threat. We're not afraid of you or anyone else to come after you. We'll fight for our freedom. Campbell shook his head. You truly ever free, Scar, after everything that you've seen? Before the hermit could respond, the camouflaged guard shoved him through the portal, giving Sam and Stephanie a quick nod before disappearing himself. Scar swallowed, seeing the portal fade away as he blinked. Was it really all over? Scar felt a hand on his shoulder as he looked back, seeing Impulse by his side. How are you? I'm okay. Scar sighed, looking down at the Wonder Gem in his hand. Trevor showed me a horrible nightmare I don't ever want to come true. Sad look formed on Impulse's face. There's nothing to be afraid of. We're safe now. See? Scar looked up at his friend again, smiled weakly. So green, trapped in that same glass cylinder Jem found me in when RJ was tormenting me. There's nothing I can do to stop it. Impulse squeezed his friend's shoulder, kneeling beside him. Now I help the Scar. Thanks to you, everyone is safe. Campbell's in prison. Trevor is gone. No one can hurt you again. It's not true, Scar whispered, looking over at Keen, who was watching the two of them. Scar smiled, offering the Wonder Gem to the men. I believe this belongs to you. Thank you, Scar. Keen nodded, taking the gem from the hermit. Your friend is right. You've become a great hero today. Without you, there's no telling what would have happened. You basically saved me, Stampy teased, ruffling the hermit's hair. Even though technically part of it was an act. You fooled me, Scar chuckled, looking back toward the Impulse. So we go home? To Folsis? No. Jim and Pearl finished the first floor of the base while you were gone. We moved in not long after you were taken, Impulse replied, patting his friend's shoulder. Green's eager to see you again. Scar nodded, with a hopeful smile. Bubbles? Safe, Impulse replied. We're all safe, and we'll figure out a way to keep it that way. I promise. Thank you. Scar reached for the hermit's hand on his shoulder, resting his on top. For helping me get through this. You were there for me? Impulse gave him an encouraging smile. I'll fight through anything to keep my family safe. Scar felt tears sting his eyes as he sighed, pulling away from his friend. I will too. Impulse pulled out a device and pressed a button as another portal flashed into view, glancing over to see Liam chatting with Sam not far from them. Liam, you ready to go? The others will want to hear everything. Are we sure we can tell them? Liam's bright blue eyes twinkled with amusement. All that matters is that everyone is safe and unharmed, Keen said with authority. You three should get home. Sam and Stampy will take care of everything else here. Don't worry. Just give us a call if you need anything. Impulse gave the group a wave. Scar followed before he pushed himself through the lead of the portal. Closing his eyes, he felt a familiar warm embrace, knowing fully well that he was coming home. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I don't know when the next one will be. I am currently still working on it. I'm just letting it sit for a little bit while I think about what I want to do and whether or not I want to change some things or not. But yeah. I'm just going with the flow, seeing what happens, and just, enjoying the ride of where this story is going. But that'll be it for this two-parter. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.